What is going on? Pat Infante back today with another video. And today I wanted to talk about a split. One that I think is, I don't want to say overlooked, but maybe people don't realize all the different purposes it can serve and the different goals you could use it and program it for and tweak it a little bit to attack. And that is just the basic upper-lower split. Seems fairly simple, and it is. And sometimes because it's simple, I think people maybe, especially as they become more advanced, feel that they outgrow it. But I feel that this is a good split that could be modified and fill a lot of purposes. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get into it. Okay, so the upper-lower split, like I said, it is a very somewhat basic split on the surface, right? You train your upper body, then you train your lower body, train your upper body, then you train your lower body. It's literally in the title. Now, here's a lot of the reasons why I think that this is somewhat overlooked and could be used more. Because a lot of advantages. For starters, the first advantage would be that it can really be modified for beginners through advanced trainers just by tweaking some of the exercises, the sets, the frequency, how many workouts per week. There's a lot of, because it is somewhat structured and simple with upper, lower, it's very easy to tweak and still stay on that upper, lower type pattern, so to say. Secondly, it balances volumes from upper to lower body pretty equally. Keep in mind, your lower body is 50% of your body. So why wouldn't it get 50% of the training days that your upper body gets? It seems simple and logical, but I feel like some of the other splits, most other splits, that's just not the case. Granted, leg days are tough. And a lot of times when you're running those other splits, your leg days are going to be a lot tougher than they would be on an upper-lower split, where you're definitely going to have to scale back the intensity, so to say, of the leg days in order to meet the frequency. But that's fine. Thirdly, it can be modified to be in the gym anywhere from 4 to, if you're crazy, 7 days a week, really. You could go a beginner, I would say upper, lower, and space out the rest days accordingly, depending on your schedule. Somebody more intermediate or advanced can do upper, lower, 3 days each during the week. And then, if you're doing 4 days or 6 days, you could easily just throw in an extra day and just do an arm day to add to it, which, you don't have to do, but if you wanted to, you could, somebody could do a 5-day split and just break out arms, which is not very systemically fatiguing, easy to train, doesn't require much crazy programming or thought, pretty self-explanatory there. So again, you got a lot of flexibility in how you want to program it and what skill level the lifter is. Next, it's very easy to reschedule if life happens, right? If you're doing push-pull legs, you can, you're going to get set in your ways. At least me, I'm very OCD, where I would say, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, push-pull legs off. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, push-pull legs off. And I want every Saturday to be the same, every Monday to be the same, so on and so forth. You get in that routine. With upper, lower, I kind of feel like it just makes it so that it doesn't always have to be like that, for one. And two, if something pops up where off a whim you can't go to the gym for 3-4 days, you can just jump back in to pick up wherever you left off with that upper, lower, because your frequency, you really weren't off that long of a time, and a little extra recovery is never a bad thing. Next, you got it is less sets per exercise. Per workout. So it means that it's more higher quality sets and eliminates a lot of the junk volume that is more fatiguing than it has a hypertrophic benefit to it. So that is also one thing to consider. I feel that because you're doing less sets per body part per workout, these are going to be higher quality sets. Next, It's very easy to auto-regulate, especially for somebody that's very in tune with their body, intermediate, advanced lifter. I typically would write it as I would have like a base program, probably even only I would go in with 2 sets per exercise on that day. And depending how I feel recovered wise and stuff, I will auto-regulate that from there. I will either add in extra sets where I think I can use it, where I think I'm well recovered and can push it a little more. And you could really just auto-regulate it, as you go. That's probably something for more advanced or intermediate, but at the same time, a beginner doesn't really need to do that. A beginner, like I've said numerous times, really can just play with weights, any type of structure you have. And if you die at some point, you're going to get results. And then finally, I find it's a great split when fat loss is your primary goal. When your goal in that period is fat loss, when you're in a calorie deficit, you're not going to be really gaining muscle, again, unless you're a beginner. But if you're somebody that has years of training under them, if you're in a calorie deficit, there's no need to put that extra fatigue on your body because you're not giving your body the calories to recover and grow from it. So you could really scale back the volume, hit it with frequency, to stay obviously in shape while you're going through that fat loss period. I think the split is excellent during a fat loss period. So, as far as, and again, as far as you would draw it up, it would look something like this, right? I always start with even though it's called upper lower, I always start with the lower days and count that as day one. But like I said, it really doesn't matter because once you start going back and forth, not every day is going to be the same. You could take an extra day of recovery due to the frequency. If you wanted to, you got a lot of flexibility where not every Monday's got to be the same. Every Tuesday's got to be the same, so on and so forth. Again, auto-regulation is a big positive that this split brings you. But if I was to run a ton, I would choose, for a leg day, something like squats or dumbbell lunges, deadlifts, if you like that kind of thing. Me, deadlifts aren't an option. I have a couple herniated discs in the back, so it's not really an option for me. But I would say, a compound exercise or 2 to start, and then even program it again. Start with 2 sets, and then you could always add sets in depending how you feel. I would say the first week, go bare bones, 2 sets per exercise, see how you feel, and adjust accordingly. But I would go with something like squats and probably follow that up with a couple sets of probably like dumbbell lunges. And then I would always do my leg extensions, some type of leg curls in there. And then, some type of calf raise of choice. And then I'm a big fan of body weight calf raises. If you could just find typically in your gym, the preacher machine, usually the base of it is rounded. And if you just get on that and get a full stretch and just do very slow, eccentric body weight calf raises to burn them out, I find that as a very good exercise, especially for people like me that are cursed with genetically those high insertion points in the calves where there's really not much we could do. It's just genetics. We're not going to grow massive calves, but I find that the body weight calf raises to burn them out towards the end of your leg workout is at least you're doing all you can at that point. And I do include any type of core training or ab workout in with the leg days. So that would pretty much be like my first lower workout, so to say. And then my first upper workout would essentially be pretty much a flat bench press to start. And again, I would probably say that first week, and I'm excluding your warm-up sets. I would say 2 top working sets is really see where you stand at that point. And then next upper day, if you want, add your sets in. You could always, again, auto-regulate it depending how you feel. Remember, if you're getting, say, 8 sets of chest in during the week, but you're splitting it up amongst different workouts. Let's say you're doing 8 sets of chest amongst 3 workouts. Well, I believe that's going to be more effective than 8 sets across 2 workouts. Because remember, the most hypertrophic response you're going to have is in that first set, and then the second set, and then the diminishing returns where you're adding fatigue to your body, but it's not as effective as far as a hypertrophic response, I would say, as you start adding in all these sets. So I think frequency over just blasting your chest one day I think spacing those sets out during the week actually yields a much better return. So I would start with a flat bench press. I would go with some type of horizontal rolling move for the next exercise, like a bent over barbell row, dumbbell row, even seated cable rows. I like it. I like the T-bar row because it does support your chest. If you're somebody with back problems, I think it offers less chance of injuring yourself. And then I would do some type of like a pullover type of exercise, whether it's dumbbell or cable, something along there. I followed up with that. The back does have a lot of different muscles that move different ways. So you got to kind of hit that, from different angles. Seated dumbbell press. I tell you the truth, on my upper days, I literally do one set. With all the pressing movements I usually just take one set of seated dumbbell overhead presses, and I take the failure. I'll sit there with the, high reps too, the 40s, the 45s, and rep them out 30, 35 times, slow eccentrics, just burn them out. But just one killer set. I'm already warmed up at that point. I did my pressing movements, and I think that's really all you need. But again, if that's a priority for you, you could always add in, a second set. But keep in mind, there is an overlap with your chest training. When it comes to shoulders, your side delts and your rear delts need much more volume than your front delts. Not that an overhead press doesn't hit them all, but ideally it does hit front delts the hardest. And then I would go with some lateral raises, and I would program, I would say for 3, but I usually go more than 3, or at least I will start to take that second or third set to drop sets. Start with the whatever weight you want to use, keep dropping it 5 pounds. I'll drop it all the way down until I have no weight to my hands, and I'm just using my arms, just burning as much as I can. On those lateral raises. Side delts require a lot of volume, can handle a lot of volume, and it's not overall systemically fatiguing. And then I would, every upper workout, I usually throw in about 2 sets of shrugs, just space them out, whether you use dumbbell or plate loaded machine or barbell, whatever you want to do there. Again, just some type of shrug movement. And then I would go with any type of bicep curl or tricep extension to finish it out. Start with 2 sets of each. And again, especially if you're going to do like 4 days and then an arm day, or if you're a wild man, you're going to go 6 times and then an arm day or whatever, you're going to throw an arm day in there. You don't necessarily need to crush your arms with volume on these upper days, because again, there's some overlap in all the other stuff you're doing. You're using your arms. So again, I think that, when you're thinking in terms of a frequency, the individual volume of the day could seem a little minuscule, but it adds up over time, and it's not. And especially because you're going to be right back at it again fairly quickly. Leg day number 2. Again, I would go either squats or lunges. I wouldn't go squats or deadlifts. I would mix it up, and I wouldn't squat and deadlift necessarily the same day. And that's where I love dumbbell lunges. I think it's a for what you get out of it and how you can recover from it. I think it's a great exercise. I think it's extremely underrated. I did a whole nother video about it, which I'll link in the description below. But I really think it is one of the true underrated compound leg exercises. I follow that up with either like a leg press, a hack squat, even just the leg press like machine, high reps. Burn them out. It's more than enough. I'm always doing some type of extension or curl. I think that's a staple on every lower day. They're just such effective isolation exercises that it doesn't make sense to not do them. And then again, same thing with calves. Pick a calf, raise a choice. You want to switch it up from last time? Awesome. I would still finish it off with the body weight calf raise. And then again, whatever type of ab exercise you're doing. And then your final upper day, I would start with an incline this time. And then I would go to like some type of a chest fly, whether it's, usually the machine or cable flies. I've been liking a lot of cable flies. I found a new gym has a seated cable fly machine that works pretty good. It's usually a machine I don't like in a lot of places, but this one, they just have it weighted properly and it just feels really good. So I've been on that kick lately, but some type of fly movement I think is ideal there. And then you want to do your vertical pulling. So some pull-ups, pull-downs, assisted pull-ups, some type of vertical pulling movement for your back. Again, right back to the dumbbell lateral raises. I would say, 2 sets, but very hard sets, even if they're both drop sets. When you're doing only 2 sets, we're talking about hard sets here. We're not talking about Mickey Mouse sets, and I'm not including warm-up sets in any of this either. This is where I would bring in the rear delt work, because your rear delts are going to get hit a lot from the horizontal pulling. I don't want to say a lot, but they're going to get hit more from the horizontal pulling on your first upper day, I feel, than the vertical pulling. I feel it's a little more on the horizontal. So here's where I would throw in the, some type of a reverse dumbbell fly or anything like that for your rear delts, whatever you like. Even a face pull is a great exercise. The dumbbell shrug, again, like I told you, I'm a big fan of just throwing in 2 sets of shrugs on every upper workout. I think that's more than enough, especially if they're hard sets. And then same thing, bicep curls, triceps. You may want to alternate in a hammer curl variation, probably a good idea. But that's pretty much that. Now, again, if the next day you plan on coming in and doing an arm day, I wouldn't even do the biceps and triceps that day. Again, auto-regulate. Change things as you go, change things on the fly. Just, upper, lower, keep that consistent, and then you could auto-regulate your way through the rest of it. As far as arm day goes, look, there's no program. The easiest program is just to have at it. It's arm day. Go to the gym and just whatever you like to do. Have fun with that one. Biceps, triceps, back and forth. You want to throw some forearms in there, whatever you normally do. But there's no need to list out a bunch of exercises for that. I like to actually go in that day unplanned, unprogrammed, and just do it by feel. And, it's usually pretty good. So I wanted to come on, give you that information, my thoughts about the upper-lower split, why I do think it could be used more than it is routinely. I will link this spreadsheet in the description below, along with some of the other videos that I have that are related to this video here. Please subscribe on YouTube. Please like the video. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. Let me know, what kind of splits you guys like to run. But you can find me on Instagram, on my website, www.eat4abs.com, Pat Infante, and I am signing out.